Welcome to the My Life Counts podcast show where we talk about anything dealing with mental health. My name is Jared Jones and I'm your mental health coach. And today I want to do a little something different. I am just getting back from the gym. As you can see, I'm still sweating. And I had something on my mind. Yesterday was my uncle's homegoing service. Some people know it as a funeral. And he was 82 years old, Sylman Battle. And, you know, for the first time that I can remember, and I've been to many funerals, had many deaths in my family. And for the first time, an interesting thing happened. And that is, I didn't go through much grief. It was interesting. And it's not that I didn't love him or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I talked to him a few weeks ago, and but in listening to the remarks that was made at the funeral, and my cousin Keith Battle, he did a amazing eulogy, and his message was about my uncle, and it was about living well. And one of the things that really struck me is that I wasn't grieving a loss. I was actually proud of his life. And it was amazing. It was an amazing thing because, you know, oftentimes, and I've talked about this before, but oftentimes it's about our perspective, and how do you perceive your loss? And for me, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, like I'm proud to be this guy's nephew. Like this guy was amazing. And so I didn't have much grief or pain, or, you know, I'm sure it's you know, family members and who are hurting from his loss, but I'm proud of his life. And so it got me thinking, you know, all of our mental health is tied to one another. You know, I've talked about being selfish, and there's a time for that. But oftentimes, you know, we're not selfish because we're catering to each other. We're paying attention to one another. And I found it just you know, there was a breath of fresh air in knowing how he lived. And in saying that, what I'm saying is that our lives helps to give other people peace. And so the question becomes, are you living a life that will make other people proud to have known you? Are you living a life that will impact others when you're gone? Are you living a life that others will say, wow, I'm glad I knew that guy, or I'm glad I knew that girl? Or are you living a life that's gonna bring pain and grief and sorrow and or joy because you're not here anymore? You know, I can't say his thought process or anything like that. I know he was God-fearing. I know, you know, he was a Christian. He lived by the word, and not just in what he said, but in his actions and his deeds. He actually lived it out. And so it's amazing to see that, and it's comforting to see that, so that when somebody passes on, you're not feeling like a life was lost. You're feeling like, wow, that was a great life lived. In other words, it was a great investment, because his life impacted many people beyond him, beyond his family. You know, some of the things that I found out about him, like he was a teacher. I didn't know he was a teacher when he was younger. I knew about his military service, but I didn't know that he was a teacher. I didn't know that he was a great mathematician. Some of these things that I did not know. It was the first time hearing about it. But it was a beautiful thing, because there are few people who you can go throughout life and not hear so many terrible things about. He was one of those guys where if anybody had anything bad to say about him, I haven't heard it. And if they did, it probably is more of a reflection of them than it is of him. And that made me proud. It made me proud, and it made me say, man, he left a powerful example. One that I want to follow. You know, in the Christian world, there's a saying that, you know, when you die and go to heaven, you want to hear this phrase, well done, good and faithful servant. And I know for him, that's a phrase that he'll definitely hear or have heard. And I just wonder if we're living our lives in that manner. I wonder if I'm living my life in that manner, in which I know that one day, at the end of this life, whenever that is, that there'll be a well done, good and faithful servant. Not only in the next life, not only where we transition to, but here. I wonder what the people will say here. You know, I wonder if how much am I going to leave on the table? And so his death and the funeral, especially the funeral, gave me new insight. For the first time, I was proud that he transitioned well. And I want to live a life to make sure that at the end of my life, I'm transitioning well. And so for today, that's the question for you. How are you living your life? Are you living your life with the end in sight? Are you living your life in a manner in which, if you passed away, what would the people around you say? What would the people around you say? Will you hear that? Well done. Well done. And I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the people that you would leave behind. Will they say, well done? Thank you for the example that you left. Thank you for making us better. Thank you for the investment that you made into my life and to the people around you. Or will they simply bury you? Oftentimes our mental health is connected to others. because of the way he lived. And let me say this, because I'm only speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the family. I'm speaking for myself. But because of the way he lived, at least for me, he helped me. And so I'm wondering, is your life helping those around you? Are you being a good example to those around you? Are you living the life that you proclaim to live? Are you doing the things that you said you was going to do? These are not only the things that I'm asking you, these are things I'm asking of myself. I don't know if you can accurately answer that until the funeral, right? Until you're already gone. I'm pretty sure my uncle, if you would have asked him, he probably would not have said that, yeah, I'm living an exemplary life. He probably would have acknowledged whatever flaws that he had and would have continued to get better. But his life meant something to a lot of people. And for me, it was a great example. He died at 82. 82 years. With a couple of 100 years of impact. I hope to be able to live as well as he did. So the question is, are you living a good life? Or are you living a good life? Are you living the life that you want to live? Are you living the life that you proclaim to live? Are you the person who you want to be? Who you desire to be? Because if you are, well done. Well done. But if you're not, why? Why are we wasting time? Nobody is promised tomorrow. The only gift that you have is the present. That's why I'm doing this now. I just got out of the gym and I said, I could do this later. I could be a little more scripted and have something ready, but who's promised tomorrow? The most precious gift that you have is your present. Don't waste it. And sometimes it takes things like death to put things back in perspective. But you know what's even greater than death putting things back in perspective is a life well lived, putting things back in perspective. My uncle was an amazing man, and I am grateful to be attached to him. I am also challenged by the life that he lived to live my best life, to leave an impact beyond me, beyond my children. And to live a life that, at the end, all the people around me will be able to say, you know what? He did that thing, man. Well done. Well done. He lived a good life. He was a good man. You know, that makes me think, like back in the day, name used to mean something. Reputation used to mean something. I think it still does. At least for me, it does. And so when you say the name Sylman Battle to anybody who knows him, the answer is well done. He was a good man. Are you living that sort of life? And if not, what's stopping you? What's stopping you? So look, I know a lot of times I focus on ourselves, things that we need to do for us. But it hit me when I watched his funeral that my mental health is always attached to other people. Always. And I want to make it easy for other people. And one way I can do that is to live a life worth living. So that's the question. That's the challenge today. Are you living a life worth living? Are you making your life count? That's what my life count is all about. My life counts. The fact is, it does. The question is, are you acting like it does? So look, I don't want to keep you too long because, like I said, I didn't have anything really scripted. This is just, coming from my heart. And his life impacted me. And the funeral just reminded me of how well he lived. And it made me start thinking, am I living as well as he did? And it got me questioning, are you living the life that you want to live? And if not, I understand. Let's get through this together. Look, I'm Jared Jones. I'm your mental health coach. And I'll see you in the next show. Peace.